Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a sterile, brightly lit operating room. The air is cold, smelling faintly of antiseptic and latex. On the table before you lies a 7-year-old man. He was a good patient. He followed the rules. For 30 years, he walked 5 miles every single day. He wore the best shoes. He tracked his 10,000 steps on a shiny digital watch. He believed, with every fiber of his being, that he was outrunning old age. But as the surgeon made the first incision into his knee, the truth was revealed. There was no cushion left. The cartilage wasn't just thin, it was gone. The bone was jagged, gray, and ground down like a piece of wood left in the surf. The very activity he thought was saving his life was actually the mechanism that destroyed his mobility. This is the tragedy of the modern senior. We have been sold a story, a beautiful $300 billion story, that walking is the perfect exercise. We are told it protects the heart, strengthens the legs, and keeps us young. But in orthopedic wards from Tokyo to New York, surgeons are seeing a different reality. They're seeing a generation of healthy walkers who are showing up with fractured knees, inflamed hips, and spines that look like collapsed towers. You have been sold a myth. And today, we're going to dismantle that myth piece by piece. We're going to talk about why your daily walk might be a ticking time bomb for your joints. But more importantly, we're going to reveal the 5 movements that orthopedic and vascular science actually approve of. These are the 5 movements that don't just burn calories, but actually rebuild your bone density, rewire your brain's balance centers, and protect your independence for decades longer than any treadmill ever could. To understand why walking is failing us, we have to look at the mechanics of the human machine. Think of your body like a high-performance vehicle. Your bones are the frame, and your muscles are the suspension system. When you are 20, your suspension is brand new. You can drive over potholes, rocks, and uneven dirt, and the car stays smooth because the shocks absorb the impact. But as we cross the threshold of 60, a biological thief enters the house. This thief is called sarcopenia. It is the progressive, involuntary loss of skeletal muscle mass. Between the ages of 50 and 80, the average human loses up to 40% of their muscle fibers. Specifically, we lose the fast-twitch fibers, the ones responsible for power, stability, and catching ourselves when we trip. When these muscles wither, your suspension system fails. Now, every time your heel hits the pavement during your healthy walk, that force isn't being absorbed by muscle. It travels directly into the joint. It hammers the meniscus. It rattles the hip socket. It compresses the vertebrae. Over 10,000 steps a day, you aren't building health. You're performing 10,000 microtraumas on a frame that no longer has its shock absorbers. The fitness industry doesn't want you to know this. The global walking and wearable market is worth $300 billion. They want you focused on the step count because steps are easy to track and shoes are easy to sell. But a step count is a vanity metric if your muscles are too weak to support the weight of those steps. This is why seniors who walk daily are still falling. This is why fit hikers are ending up with hip replacements. They have cardio, but they have no armor. So if walking is the trap, what is the escape? The answer lies in 5 specific movements that target the vulnerabilities of the aging body. These aren't just exercises. They are biological signals that tell your body to stop decaying and start rebuilding. Let's begin with the first movement, which addresses the most neglected part of the senior body, the upper frame. Most people assume that if their legs are moving, they are fit. But orthopedic surgeons look at the fall response. When you trip, your legs have already failed you. Your last line of defense is your arms and your chest. If you cannot push the world away, you hit the ground with your face or your hip. This brings us to movement number 5, the wall push-up with progressive resistance. This is perhaps the most underestimated exercise in geriatric medicine. A study from the American College of Sports Medicine found that seniors who engaged in modified push-ups 3 times a week increased their functional strength by 34% in just 2 months. Compare that to the walking-only group who saw a meager 7% improvement. The wall push-up isn't just about looking strong. It's about bone mineral density in the wrists and shoulders, the two places most likely to shatter during a fall. By standing an arm's length from a wall and controlledly lowering your weight, you're forcing your upper body to wake up. You are strengthening the serratus anterior and the triceps. You are building the brakes of a human body. As you get stronger, you move your feet further back, increasing the load. You are telling your nervous system that you are still a powerful, upright being, not a collapsing structure. But the upper body is only half the story. We must address the engine of independence. In the medical world, there is a test called the sit-to-stand. It is the single best predictor of whether or not you will end up in a nursing home. If you cannot stand up from a chair without using your hands, your risk of a life-changing disability increases by over 300%. This leads us to movement number 4, the chair squat with controlled tempo. Most people think they know how to sit down, but they don't. They plop. They let gravity take over for the last 6 inches. That plop is a sign that your quadriceps have given up. The chair squat is the antidote. By sitting at the edge of a sturdy chair, crossing your arms, and standing up through your heels, you are engaging the posterior chain, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the lower back. But the surgeon-approved secret is the eccentric phase. That is the way down. When you lower yourself back to the chair, you must do it over a count of 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. This slow movement creates time under tension. It tears the old, weak muscle fiber so that the body is forced to knit together new, stronger ones. Research from a National Institute on Aging shows that this type of slow, eccentric training produces less stress on the heart while building 10% more muscle than traditional fast movements. It is the ultimate life insurance for your mobility. Now, we must talk about the silent killer of the elderly, the fear of falling. This fear creates a vicious cycle. You feel unsteady, so you move less. Because you move less, you get weaker. Because you are weaker, you become even more unsteady. Eventually, your world shrinks to the size of your living room. Walking doesn't fix balance. Walking is a linear, repetitive motion that your brain can do while it's asleep. To fix balance, you have to challenge the brain's internal GPS. This is movement number 3, the single leg stand with progressive challenges. This is the movement that recently made headlines in the British Medical Journal. They found that the ability to stand on one leg for 10 seconds after the age of 70 is associated with a 50% reduction in all-cause mortality. It is a literal death predictor. When you stand on one leg, you are forcing 3 systems to talk to each other: your inner ear, your eyes, and the tiny proprioceptors in your ankles. As we age, the wiring between these systems gets frayed. The signals get noisy. By practicing the single leg stand, starting by holding a counter, then moving to one finger, then no hands, then eventually closing your eyes, you are retuning your brain. You are teaching your body how to find its center of gravity in a fraction of a second. You are building the stability software that walking simply cannot provide. But as we move up the body, we find a structural collapse that walking actually makes worse. It is the hunch. You see it everywhere: the forward-leaning head, the rounded shoulders, the sunken chest. This is kyphosis. It isn't just an aesthetic issue. It is a medical emergency. It compresses the lungs, reducing oxygen intake by up to 20%. It puts immense pressure on the digestive organs. And most dangerously, it shifts your center of gravity so far forward that your fall risk increases by 45%. If you walk while you're hunched, you're simply reinforcing that collapse with every step. You're training your body to be a C shape. This brings us to movement number 2, the resistance band row. This is the movement that hospitals in Japan have used to restore leg power in seniors 40% faster than traditional physical therapy. Why? Because the back is the anchor of the legs. By using a simple rubber band and pulling it toward your ribs while squeezing your shoulder blades together, a move we call cracking the walnut, you are waking up the rhomboids and the middle trapezius. These are the anti-gravity muscles. They pull your skeleton back into alignment. They open your chest. They allow you to breathe. When you strengthen your back, you change the way you walk. You go from shuffling to striding. You go from looking at the ground to looking at the horizon. It is the closest thing to a fountain of youth for the human spine. And now, we reach the pinnacle. The number one movement. The one that Harvard Medical School, the Mayo Clinic, and ancient tradition all agree is the ultimate neural rewire. It is a practice that doesn't just strengthen muscles, but actually grows the brain. Movement number one. Tai Chi movement patterns. Don't let the gentle look of Tai Chi fool you. It is a sophisticated system of dynamic balance. While walking is A to B in a straight line, Tai Chi is 360-degree movement. It involves constant weight shifting, rotation of the hips, and coordination between the arms and legs. It is the most complex task you can give your nervous system. Brain scans of regular Tai Chi practitioners show increased gray matter in the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory, and the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making. It is meditation in motion, but it is also medicine in motion. A landmark study of 1,200 seniors found that Tai Chi reduced fall risk by 47%. No drug, no treadmill, and no walking club has ever come close to that number. Tai Chi forces your body to move in spirals. It lubricates the joints with synovial fluid. It teaches the body to be fluid yet rooted. It is the ultimate defense against the brittleness of age. So, let's look at the big picture. We have been told that to be healthy, we just need to move. But movement is a broad term. A car spinning its wheels in the mud is moving, but it isn't going anywhere. It's just burning out the engine. If you're walking 10,000 steps a day on weak muscles with a hunchback and poor balance, you are simply burning out your engine. The revolution in senior health isn't about doing more. It's about doing better. It's about shifting from quantity of movement to quality of movement. Imagine a different future. Imagine yourself at 80 or 90. You aren't sitting in a chair waiting for someone to help you stand. You aren't afraid of a rug or a wet floor. You are upright. You are strong. You are armored. This isn't a fantasy. It is the result of a deliberate choice to stop following the walking myth and start following the science of orthopedic resilience. Every day you wait is a day that sarcopenia takes another bite out of your muscle mass. Every day you spend only walking is a day your joints take a pounding they weren't meant to handle. But every day you spend doing these 5 movements, the wall push-up, the chair squat, the single leg stand, the resistance band row, and the Tai Chi patterns, is a day you're building a fortress around your independence. You don't need a $300 billion fitness industry to save you. You don't need expensive trackers or smart shoes. You need a wall, a chair, a rubber band, and the floor beneath your feet. You need the courage to admit that what we've been told for decades might be wrong. The surgeon who started this story, the one looking at the gray, ground-down bones of the healthy walker, he has a message for you. He wants you to stay off his operating table. He wants you to realize that your body is a masterpiece of engineering, but even the best machines require the right kind of maintenance. Walking is a wonderful way to see the world, to enjoy nature, and to clear your head. But it is not a fitness program. It is a leisure activity. If you want to be mobile for life, you must train for life. You must build the muscle to support the bone. You must build the balance to support the brain. The path forward is clear. The science is definitive. The tools are in your hands. Your future self is waiting for you to make the shift. Will you continue to grind down your joints in pursuit of a step count, or will you start building the strength that actually lasts? The choice is yours. The floor is ready. The clock is ticking. But for the first time, you know exactly what to do. Think about the 5 movements. Think about the wall push-up. Feel the tension in your arms. Feel the bone in your wrist getting denser, stronger, ready to catch you if the world slips. Think about the chair squat. Feel the heat in your thighs. That heat is the engine of your freedom being rebuilt. Every slow descent is a rejection of the nursing home. Every powerful ascent is a claim on your future. Think about the single leg stand. Feel the wobble in your ankle. Embrace that wobble. That is the sound of your brain rewiring itself. It is the sound of your internal GPS coming back online. Think about the resistance band row. Feel your chest open. Feel the air rushing deep into your lungs. Feel your spine lengthening, pulling you out of the C shape and back into the tall, proud eye shape of a human being in their prime. Think about Tai Chi, feel the flow. Feel the weight shifting from one foot to the other like water moving between two vessels. Feel your nervous system calming down, moving from fight or flight into rest and rebuild. This is the surgeon-approved way. This is the path to a life without limits. It doesn't require a gym. It doesn't require a miracle drug. It requires 10 to 20 minutes of your day and the understanding that you are worth the effort. We are entering a new era of aging. An era where old doesn't mean frail. An era where we don't just fade away, but we remain vibrant participants in our own lives. But this era is only available to those who are willing to look past the marketing and see the mechanics. The global fitness market will keep selling you the shoes. The pharmaceutical companies will keep selling you the joint creams and the painkillers. But the truth, the hard, orthopedic truth, is that the power to heal your joints and extend your mobility is already inside you. It's in your muscles. It's in your nervous system. It's in your willingness to move with purpose. Do not be the patient on the operating table who did everything right but forgot to build their armor. Be the one who defies the statistics. Be the one who walks into their 90s with a straight back and a steady gait. The surgeon is stepping out of the room. The lights are dimming. The story of the walking myth is over. Now your story begins. What will you do with the next 20 minutes? Will you go for another joint grinding walk? Or will you find a wall, find a chair, and start rebuilding the machine that was meant to carry you for 100 years? The science has spoken. Your body is listening. The world is waiting for you to stand up, truly stand up, and reclaim your strength. The 5 movements are there. The logic is sound. The results are proven. The only thing missing is you. Do not let your mobility be a profitable myth for someone else. Make it a living reality for yourself. Start now. Stand up. Find your balance. Pull back your shoulders. And move into your future with the strength you were always meant to have. This is the end of the myth. This is the beginning of your resilience. Thank you for listening to the truth. Now go out there and live it.